Lamar Jackson, aka Action Jackson. Wow, what a year it has been for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Lamar Jackson having an incredible season for the Ravens despite all the injuries the Baltimore Ravens have had to deal with all season long. They are currently the #1 seed in a stacked AFC. Lamar Jackson has played so well to the point where he has entered the conversation for the MVP once again. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Are the Ravens the best team in the AFC? I'm going to go ahead and declare yes on that. I believe the Baltimore Ravens are indeed the best team in the AFC. Yes, I know that there are a lot of contenders in the AFC. You got the Miami Dolphins in there. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got the Buffalo Bills. You got the Cleveland Browns and other teams in the AFC. But when you compare them to all these teams, I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens because the Baltimore Ravens have proven to be the most complete team top to bottom. When you look at the quarterback situation, Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal for the Baltimore Ravens. I understand that Lamar Jackson doesn't put up great statistics, but when you actually watch the film, you guys have to realize Lamar Jackson has elevated the Ravens big time. You look at the Ravens injuries that are on the roster. JK Dobbins tears his Achilles. He's out for the year. Doesn't matter. Keaton Mitchell, a great running back for the Baltimore Ravens. He's had a phenomenal year for them. He ends up being out for the season as well due to injury. And then Mark Andrews, their star tight end, ends up getting injured on a hip drop tackle. He ends up being out for the season, but it doesn't matter for Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson finds ways to help the Baltimore Ravens win football games. And even though the Baltimore Ravens don't have great receivers, it doesn't matter for Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson knows how to elevate the Baltimore Ravens when it matters most because he makes all the key third downs. Their offensive line is elite. Lamar Jackson finds ways to throw guys open. Lamar Jackson finds ways to create running lanes for himself. Lamar Jackson is the definition of a dual threat quarterback, and because the Baltimore Ravens have made Lamar Jackson evolve into a better passer, that has made him enter the MVP conversation once again. Remember, Lamar Jackson won the MVP back in the 2019 NFL season. That was because Lamar Jackson proved that he had a can for an arm and he could outrun NFL defenders. Well, Lamar Jackson is on pace to win the MVP once again. Like I've said in the past, Lamar Jackson is my MVP pick, and I'm going to continue sticking with that because of the fact that Lamar Jackson can make his receivers better than what they actually are. And even though Odell Beckham is washed up, he is Lamar Jackson's best wide receiver, and you've seen Odell Beckham show up in recent weeks. Odell Beckham has been able to make plays in the passing game, particularly on that deep touchdown against the LA Rams. That was a really good play that Lamar Jackson made. That was a really good throw and an even better catch by Odell Beckham. You could tell that OBJ has regained some confidence in himself. He has been playing better in recent weeks. And then, of course, you got to talk about the great defense that resides in the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Baltimore Ravens don't have a lot of big names outside of Jadeveon Clowney and Roquan Smith, but when you look at this Ravens team, they know how to get pressure on the quarterback and they can sack the quarterback pretty efficiently. Their secondary is also pretty underrated. It's actually pretty crazy how the Baltimore Ravens could have been 14-0 had they just learned how to close out games. Had they just learned how to close out the game against the Indianapolis Colts back in week 3, they would have won that game. They should have won that game, matter of fact, but they didn't know how to close the deal, and Gardner Minshew came in clutch for them. And then their other loss came against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was because Lamar Jackson had a bad game. Yes, I'll be the first one to tell you that Lamar Jackson should have played a better football game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He simply did not make enough plays in that game in order to win. But hey, maybe the defense shouldn't allow a touchdown late in the game to Kenny Pickett, because if they don't allow that touchdown, the Baltimore Ravens win that game. But then the other loss that they had was to the Deshaun Watson-led Browns. That was a stupid loss for the Baltimore Ravens. They were up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That was a game that they should have never lost. But Lamar Jackson, he throws the pick 6, even though the pick 6 wasn't his fault. Unlike what Shannon Sharp was saying on First Take, Lamar Jackson did not play a great game against the Cleveland Browns, and as a result of that, the Cleveland Browns ended up shocking the Baltimore Ravens as the Ravens lost that game at home. Looking back at that game, you're thinking the Baltimore Ravens should have never lost that game. You look at the 3 losses that the Ravens had, they never should have lost those games. They shouldn't have lost to the Colts, they shouldn't have lost to the Steelers, and they shouldn't have lost to the Browns. When you look at this Baltimore Ravens team, they very easily could have been 14-0. And when I look at this Baltimore Ravens team, they are going to the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, I said it. The Baltimore Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl over the Miami Dolphins, who I believe are fraudulent. They're going to go to the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs because of the fact fact that they don't really have much of a passing game. I know Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal quarterback, but I don't believe in Kadarius Toney, who apparently is their wide receiver one. The wide receivers in Kansas City are just not good enough to compete come playoff time. When I look at this Ravens team, they are so close to the number one seed. All they have to do is win the next 2 games, and they're the number one seeded team in the AFC. And you know what's going to help? If the Baltimore Ravens go ahead and beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football, aka Christmas Day. I believe the Baltimore Ravens are going to indeed beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football because of the fact that Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback, because of the fact that the Ravens are able to run the football, because of the fact that the Baltimore Ravens can play time possession, and the fact that their defense is really good at sacking the quarterback. The thing with Brock Purdy is he hasn't been getting hit a lot. Brock Purdy has been a phenomenal quarterback for the 49ers, don't get me wrong, and Christian McCaffrey has been phenomenal running the football for the 49ers, but the thing with the 49ers is they haven't really had to deal with a lot of adversity, and whenever they've had to play close games this year, they haven't been able to get the job done. You look at the 2 close games the 49ers had to play this year. They were against the Browns and the Vikings, and the 49ers didn't get the job done. The Browns game, the rookie kicker ends up missing a game-winning field goal, and then the Vikings game, Brock Purdy chokes in the 4th quarter. Granted, he was playing with a concussion, but still, that's not good enough for that game. So when you look at this San Francisco 49ers team, they've won 11 games this year, and they're obviously a great football team. They steamroll everybody in the National Football League, but when they don't steamroll opponents, they don't know how to win the close games, and I'm anticipating the Baltimore Ravens are going to keep this game close against the San Francisco 49ers. A fun fact to point out about Lamar Jackson is that he has only lost 1 time to an NFC opponent his entire career. The only loss Lamar Jackson had was in 2022 against the New York Giants. Yeah, that was a random loss for Lamar Jackson to have against an NFC opponent, but for the most part, Lamar Jackson shows up against NFC opponents, and not only does Lamar Jackson show up against NFC opponents, he dominates NFC opponents. There's a reason why Lamar Jackson has played phenomenal each and every time he has played against an NFC opponent this season. When you look at Lamar Jackson, he has played really well when it matters most. Yeah, he might not throw for a lot of touchdowns, but it's not because they're not scoring touchdowns. It's because the Baltimore Ravens are giving a lot of those touchdowns to Gus Edwards at the goal line, which I don't have a problem with. Hey, if you have a touchdown merchant in your backfield, go ahead and give him the football in the red zone. If he has a nose for an end zone, make sure you go ahead and give him the football. That's what the Detroit Lions realized last year with Jamal Williams. They realized that they had a touchdown merchant in Jamal Williams, so they just gave him all the 1-yard line touchdowns for the Detroit Lions, which caused Jared Goff's numbers to look a little worse than what you would actually think it was. But the point of the story is Lamar Jackson has played phenomenal for them. Gus Edwards is going to run the football effectively. Expect to see a little bit of Justice Hill. I think he's going to do some things in there as well. I think the receiving game is going to show up. I expect Odell Beckham to be a factor in this game. I expect the Baltimore Ravens to get some stops on Brock Purdy and the 49ers. They need to hit Brock Purdy if they want to have a chance of winning this game. I think they can go ahead and do it. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to the wire, and I think the difference in this game is going to come down to the kicker. When you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they have the best kicker in all of football, and when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they have a rookie kicker that has been a bit of a liability for them this season, and I think it's going to come down to a field goal. I say the game's going to be tied at 27. Lamar Jackson is going to lead this team down the field for a game-winning kick, and Justin Tucker is going to make the game-winning kick, where the Baltimore Ravens end up beating the San Francisco 49ers by the score of 30-27. I think it's going to be a good game all around. I think it's going to be an instant classic on Monday Night Football, so that's why the Ravens are the best team in the AFC, as they will beat the 49ers by the score of 30-27. I want to note to you guys that this is a Saturday video, so this is a special edition that I am making. That is because I will not be making a video on Monday. I am going to be with my family on Christmas Day, so I'm not going to be there Monday. I will be back on Tuesday, and I want to give thanks to you guys for subscribing to the channel and dropping the likes and sharing the content. It certainly means a lot. The channel has grown so much over the past year. I appreciate you guys so much. It means a lot to me, and you guys got to know that I will be back on Tuesday, where I will be making my regular content then. So this is a special edition video because I won't be here Monday. I'll be back Tuesday. Make sure you guys remember that. So go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking if you haven't done so yet. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.